There's a term used in junior mining that most people outside of the sector have never heard of: CLOSEOLOGY. The premise is simple. Find a producer or late-stage developer who has spent tens or hundreds of millions proving out a resource and advancing a minerals project. Then take a look at their claims. Grab the land all around that asset and make a junior explorer out of it. The thinking basically goes that geology doesn't just end at a property boundary. And if there's gold or silver or whatever over there, well, then there's probably some over here too. And if there is, well, you've got an easily identifiable acquirer if you can prove you got something worth the effort. Like I said, it's a simple strategy, but it's been proven to work time and time again. Most recently this week with Wesdome announcing that they will be acquiring Angus Gold, who built a company on that exact strategy. Let's dive in. Wesdome Gold Mines has reached a definitive agreement to acquire Angus Gold in a transaction that is largely to be paid for in cash, which is a rarity in this market environment. The arrangement will see Angus Gold shareholders receive a 59% premium to the 20-day volume-weighted average price of the equity, which, all things considered, especially the week we've had on the markets, is quite a decent return, despite what some investors in Angus may say. Investors in Angus are to receive 62 cents in cash, in addition to 0.0096 of a Wesdome share for each share of Angus they hold. Implied consideration is about 77 cents a share, which places Angus Gold at an enterprise value of about $40 million, which really isn't bad considering Angus doesn't even hold a resource estimate yet on any property they own. And considering the company has spent about $20 million on exploration over the last few years, it's really not all that bad of a return on investment for the company either. At least not compared to major juniors like Newfound Gold, who have spent more than their market cap worth on exploration over the same time period. So what's the appeal here for Wesdome? Well, if you recall our opener, the appeal here is probably pretty obvious. Angus Gold was a CLOSEOLOGY play that worked out in their favor. Their main asset is the Golden Sky project found in the Wawa region of Ontario, right between Wesdome's Mishi mine, which their claims all surround, and Wesdome's Eagle River mine, all of which Wesdome collectively refers to as Eagle River. Basically, Angus Gold couldn't be more contiguous to Wesdome if they wanted to be. In fact, Angus Gold is a masterclass on the CLOSEOLOGY play. They spent the last 5 years acquiring claims piece by piece in the region to establish the Golden Sky project. They first started with claims they acquired off of IM Gold, which set off a series of events that saw them grab land from Exero, Talisker, Argo Gold, and Metal Corp, among others, in addition to a bunch of staking of their own. But then, and this is what sets them apart from many of the lesser CLOSEOLOGY attempts, they actually explored the property. Drilling in 2023 totaled 11,000 meters, which was then followed up by 17,000 meters last year. And before this announcement, they were planning up to 20,000 meters of drilling this year, leading to an initial resource estimate in 2026. As those meters would suggest, the programs have been quite successful despite no resource yet being established. 2 major zones that saw active exploration have been identified, referred to as the Dorset and BIF zones. The first set, Dorset, has a historic resource from 2007 that outlined 40,000 ounces of indicated gold at 1.4 grams per ton and a further 180,000 ounces of inferred gold at 1.2 grams per ton, based on a 0.5 gram per ton cutoff, which isn't much to write home about. But drilling here in recent years has hit intervals of 3.3 grams per ton over 22.6 meters, 4.3 grams per ton over 9.1 meters, and 7 grams per ton over 12.4 meters, among other results, with the latter being a new discovery 500 meters to the west of the historic resource. The strike, meanwhile, has been identified to be at least 2.1 kilometers long, with 7 kilometers of underexplored strike to go. So there's certainly more to be found, with exploration off to a great start. The other zone, referred to as BIF, is also a significant discovery. While no historic estimate exists here, drilling has hit a number of great results, including 1 gram per ton over 110 meters, 1 gram per ton over 61.3 meters, and 0.8 grams per ton over 104.3 meters, along a strike length of 1,050 meters. And there's 5 more kilometers worth of strike to explore. Oh, and this discovery is said to have mineralization that is akin to Barrick's Homestake mine, Newmont's Musselwhite mine, and Agnico Eagle's Meliadine mine, among others, which all had millions and millions of ounces of gold. But what may have really sealed the deal for Wesdome is the Eagle River Splay exploration area. You see, the Eagle River mine area is about a stone's throw from the edge of Wesdome's property. You can probably guess who has the adjoining claim. The Eagle River Splay area, of course, extends onto Angus's land, where drilling has recently intersected 48.7 grams per ton gold over 1.5 meters and 2 grams per ton gold over 5.4 meters, which, although may not be long intercepts, it's probably worth Wesdome exploring further given its proximity to the operating mine. The short of it is this: Golden Sky is knocking on Wesdome's door, and they've got a strong head start in terms of exploration that is tough to beat when they're this close to your already paid for mining infrastructure. And who doesn't want to own a combined 400 square kilometers of highly prospective land? Okay, so the fine print. As we told you, total consideration amounts to 77 cents a share in both cash and stock, with Angus being valued at an enterprise value of $40 million. Angus shareholders, of course, need to vote to approve of the transaction at a special meeting of shareholders scheduled for June 2025. What we didn't tell you is that Wesdome already owns a stake in the company. Last January, after Angus announced further results from its discovery at the Eagle Splay, Wesdome smartened up and decided to take a starter position in the company. 10 days after the second round of results were out, Angus announced that they would be raising $4.6 million in the form of a charity flow-through at 80 cents a unit. Wesdome took it all, gaining a 10.6% ownership stake in the process. What this means is that Wesdome has already secured some votes in favor of the transaction. On top of this, management, who holds 28% of the company in aggregate, has agreed to vote in favor of the transaction. Angus is also noteworthy in that New Gold, another producer, holds an 8% stake in them. And while normally they might be a contender for counter-offer, New Gold this week announced that they would be dropping $300 million in cash to acquire the remainder of their new Afton mine. Wesdome instead has managed to secure a lockup arrangement with New Gold, who will vote in favor of the transaction, which brings total secured support to about 47%. And in the event that Angus can't round up the support needed or a better counteroffer comes in, they'll owe a $2.3 million termination fee to Wesdome, who would still make some cash on their own shares anyways, making this a win-win scenario for Wesdome. Alright, so let's wrap it up. Wesdome is expecting to wrap up their purchase of Angus by the end of the current quarter, which is quite quick in the world of M&A. And while they haven't explicitly stated what they'll be doing in the near term with the Golden Sky asset, aside from creating one big land package, we suspect they're aiming to hit the ground running. A June acquisition leaves plenty of time for exploration yet this year, and the current gold environment is suitable for more discovery. What they have stated is that they want to keep the momentum going on the BIF and Eagle River Splay this year. But for all we know, that just means some fancy geophysical work and not necessarily drilling. And even if that's not the case, producers tend to think long-term, and this acquisition also appears to have that goal in mind. There's plenty to explore here and seemingly even more to discover. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Guys, if there's stories out there you want us to cover, please let us know in the comment section. Thank you for watching everybody.